All of a sudden I saw the lights coming towards us, and I thought to myself, like, we're not going to make it out of the way in time.
A close call. An Elon student rushed to the hospital after being hit by a drunk driver close to campus.
The possible government shutdown. We have team coverage tonight on how you could be affected.
When I stepped onto Elon's campus, I knew there was something special.
Special for a different reason. The impact one student's family had on the university all 125 years. Your campus, your news. Good evening, Elon. I'm Sky Cowens.
And I'm Megan Ford. All that and more tonight on Elon Local News.
A night out for one Elon student ended with a trip to the hospital after another Elon student hit her with his car.
Police arrested the driver on several charges, including driving under the influence of alcohol. Here's Eric Halperlin with the story.
Sophomore Amanda Beland is in the hospital recovering after being hit by a drunk driver just a couple feet away from the Acorn Inn. Elon Local News spoke with her friend who was holding her hand when it happened.
It felt really surreal. I started crying immediately because I just assumed that something worse had happened to her.
Mary Robbins was crossing West Haggard Avenue with Amanda Beland early Friday morning. That's when Elon Town police say another Elon student driving down Haggard Ave hit Beland, throwing her 37 feet down the road.
I sort of panicked, and then I screamed Amanda and tried to grab one of her arms as I jumped backwards, but I don't think she saw the car coming at all, and then I saw her get hit.
An ambulance took Beland to the hospital. She had surgery on both her elbow and shoulder and is starting physical therapy this week.
She's really, really lucky. That's what the doctors keep telling her too.
The driver of the car is Elon student Robert Flieger. The police report says Flieger had a .17 blood alcohol level. That's more than twice the legal limit. Flieger faces 3 charges, including driving while impaired and consuming alcohol under the age of 21. On West Haggard Avenue, Eric Halperin, Elon Local News.
Flieger's court date is set for October 29th. To help prevent further accidents from happening, Elon Local News has some tips to help keep you safe when walking at night. First, be sure to walk on a sidewalk whenever possible. That's one of the best ways to help keep you safe. Also, wearing bright colors helps. If you're wearing darker colors at night, drivers will have a harder time seeing you. And when you're crossing the street, make sure to find a crosswalk. These areas are typically better lit. A former Elon football player faces felony drug charges. Defensive back Jarrell Armstrong was pulled over on Williamson Avenue last Tuesday for speeding. The police report says Elon Town police searched the vehicle after he acted nervous. They found 29 grams of marijuana in his car. Elon Athletics says Armstrong was kicked off the team 2 weeks ago for violating team rules. The department also says he was dismissed from the university. Armstrong's last game was earlier this year when he played against North Carolina A&T.
The Department of Justice is suing North Carolina after the state's new voting laws went into effect this summer. The lawsuit says there was racial discrimination in the new law. Attorney General Eric Holder says that North Carolina, quote, took aggressive steps to curtail the voting rights of African Americans. The lawsuit targets North Carolina changes to early voting, the new voter ID requirements, and the elimination of the same-day voter registration.
Across the nation, all eyes are on Congress as the country waits to see if the government will shut down. President Obama spoke just an hour ago saying a shutdown is going to affect individuals across the country. The president went on saying even if lawmakers made a deal, it would likely fall apart again in the future. Elizabeth Kanselner joins us to break down what this means for you. Elizabeth?
Sky and Megan, there hasn't been a government shutdown since 1996. And if the government does shut down tomorrow, there are some things you may not expect. If you're going on a winter term trip or studying abroad for the spring semester, I hope you already have your passport. The State Department says that passports will still be issued, but only until they run out of money. However, since many government buildings could close, passport offices inside may have to close as well. Also, if you're looking to get away from Elon for the weekend, you may not be able to visit any national parks, zoos, or museums. That includes the Smithsonian Museums in D.C., as well as 10 national parks in North Carolina. The state says these parks contribute $3 million to the local economy every year. And if you're part of the student body from Washington, D.C., it may get a bit smelly in the district. D.C.'s budget has to be approved by Congress, so there won't be any trash pickup until this funding fight is resolved. But not everything is going to shut down. The U.S. Postal Service will still run. You will still have to pay taxes, and the military will still operate. One of the biggest concerns is that the government shuts down and doesn't raise the debt ceiling by the middle of October. It will default on its loans and won't be able to pay its bills. Immediately, that could affect the stock markets. And if you have federal student loans, don't worry. You will still get your money, but if you call for help, you may not get an answer because those offices may also be closed. Of course, stick with Elon Local News for all the updates, and we'll bring you more information on this tomorrow on ELN Morning at 9:50. Elizabeth Cantlener, Elon Local News.
This entire fight is rooted in a Republican attempt to derail President Obama's Affordable Care Act. Tomorrow, healthcare marketplaces open for people buying insurance. Jason Puckett joins us live to explain what's going to happen. Jason?
Megan and Sky, even if the government shuts down, those health exchanges will take effect, and they'll act like an online search engine where buyers can go to find the best deal on health insurance.
On March 23, 2010, President Obama signed into law the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. And now, more than 3 years later,
this Tuesday is an important day for families, businesses, and our economy. It's the day a big part of the Affordable Care Act kicks in.
Tomorrow, healthcare exchanges will open up in all 50 states. Most of the 48 million uninsured Americans will be able to buy coverage based on their incomes.
To paraphrase the words of Joe Biden, this is a really big deal.
But it's a big deal that may not change much for Elon students because Elon already requires students to have health insurance. The biggest change for us, we can now stay on our parents' insurance until we are 26.
The overall impact is it probably will make it easier for your generation to get health insurance.
And while it may take a while to see exactly how effective Obamacare is, Professor Husser says it can't be too bad.
I'm skeptically optimistic, if that's the best way to phrase it, that it's not going to lead to drastic overall negative impacts right away. If it is really terrible, if the impacts are really bad, you'll see that voters respond to that.
Most students won't need to sign up for the changes, but if they do, they have until March to sign up. The insurance policies will take effect in January. And for more information on Obamacare and its effects, log on to our website at elonlocalnews.com. In the studio, Jason Puckett, Elon Local News.
Right now, continuing coverage on the racial drawing incident from 2 weeks ago, when two roommates woke up to KKK and a swastika drawn on their whiteboard on their door. Elon's SGA hosted an open forum Thursday night where students discussed the university's response to the incident. The event first focused on student reactions and then moved to a discussion between administrators and students. Stick with Elon Local News for more about this story as it continues to develop.
Also, we are still following Colonnade's most recent sanitation rating of an 82. Aramark confirms the issues have been fixed and health inspectors will return to the dining hall by Wednesday for another inspection. But we found out the lower ratings don't end there. The Lakeside Dining Hall, the newest one on campus, received a score of a 90. That's still lower than the average score in Alamance County of 98. According to the Alamance County Health Inspector, food had to be thrown away because it was expired. 2 employees were written up for too long of facial hair, and there was a backup in the main floor drain of the dish room. Check our website for more information.
The town of Elon held 3 meetings last week to discuss possible changes coming to downtown. Our Nicole Chadwick is live on Williamson Avenue to tell us what might be coming in a few years. Nicole?
Town leaders asked residents how they would feel about expanding downtown Elon southwest past local yogurt and campus technology. Members of the Board of Aldermen and others met with local business owners and property owners asking what they would change about downtown Elon. In order to make any changes, the town would have to buy and level student houses, townhouses, and anything else sitting on the 8 blocks of land they want to add to downtown Elon. The groups discussed possibly adding shops, restaurants, and maybe even a pharmacy. They also compared the area to other university towns like Chapel Hill and Greensboro. I asked consultant Ken Kaufman what it takes for local businesses to succeed in a place like Elon.
On your target. And your target really has to be, how do we provide a shopping experience for the entire community?
Right now, no plans are final, but we should see some progress over the coming months. Live in downtown Elon, I'm Nicole Chadwick, Elon Local News.
And new information tonight regarding the future of the building formerly known as College Street Tap House. The university intends for the area to be used by any student organization who wants to host an event. The space hasn't been used in a couple months and needs renovations before it can be used again. Senior James Davies hopes student organizations will make the most out of the building.
I see Sub using it for some sort of concerts, and maybe some of our midnight meals, Sub Lives can be put in there. And we have a bunch of creative students on this campus, so hopefully a bunch of other organizations can put on some really creative events.
But there is still no word on when the changes will take place.
There's a new dining option on campus. Qdoba opened Friday in the former Daniel Commons. There are several options to take advantage of with a meal plan, including burritos, quesadillas, nachos, and tacos. The Mexican Grill also accepts Phoenix Cash, food dollars, and cash or credit.
Chick-fil-A will also be coming back to campus soon. Elon Dining confirms the restaurant will open on October 16th. The new location is next to Varsity.
It's not FDA regulated and is for sale at Kangaroo. I'll tell you what it is coming up.
The band performed awesome at the football game as always, but one member really caught fire. I'm Joe Bruno, and I'll have that story coming up.
My family was a big part of the start of that 125th, so the one, and now it's turned into 125 years total.
125 years of Elon, and one student's family has seen all of it.
Elon Local News will be right back. Some people say it's an alternative to smoking cigarettes, and our Gary Grumbach found out why some students are taking part in the trend.
Cigarettes are bad for you, straight up. They're not cool, they're just bad for you.
Henry Crompton is one student who says there's an alternative to smoking. They're electronic cigarettes, more commonly known as e-cigarettes.
You could literally put it down for like a couple weeks and you wouldn't even want to smoke it, but it's just nice to have, you know, it's just the experience.
Other students smoke them but still think they're harmful.
It's still a carcinogen, so you can still get lung cancer and throat cancer and mouth cancer and all the other kinds of cancers that come with cigarettes.
The new craze has caught the doctor's eye. Dr. Boley, a cardiologist in Forsyth County, warns users about the risks of e-cigarettes.
You really don't want people to use this as a substitute for nicotine. Nicotine is nicotine. It's a stimulant. It increases heart rate and blood pressure. It's an addictive substance.
But the health effects don't end there. Studies have shown that the use of e-cigarettes causes airway flow resistance, secondhand vapors to be released into the air, and according to the FDA, ingredients in e-cigarettes are known to be toxic to humans. Despite health concerns, one reason for the recent trend is because e-cigarettes aren't expensive. Starter kits usually run between $30 and $100, with the estimated annual cost of cartridges totaling about $600. This is cheaper than smoking a pack a day, which costs around $1,000 a year. Elon's smoking policy says that you must be standing 30 feet away from a building if you want to smoke. The same rule currently applies for e-cigarettes. The Campus Committee on Alcohol and Other Drugs is revisiting the policy this year. Gary Grumbach, Elon Local News.
E-cigarettes are not yet FDA regulated, and Dr. Bowl says it could take up to 5 years for official studies to be completed.
The archives are a resource that is often overlooked here at Elon. They are located on the second floor of Belk Library and have resources that date back to the first year Elon was established, 1889. They have the first yearbook as well as the first invitation to convocation. The resources don't end there. It also has hundreds of pictures and pamphlets throughout the years of Elon.
Elon Local News is working with the archives as we produce a special about Elon's 125th anniversary. Our team is working hard on looking at both Elon's past, present, and future. Be sure to join us on December 2nd as we present the special to the campus after the luminary ceremonies.
As we prepare for our 125th anniversary show, Elon Local News will introduce you to members of the Elon community with stories you might not expect. We start tonight with senior Will Gallier. The tour guide has a longer legacy at Elon than just about any other student.
When I stepped onto Elon's campus, I knew there was something special.
Senior Will Gallier isn't the only member of his family who called Elon home. His family has been a part of Elon since it became a college in 1889.
I came to Elon as a freshman. I didn't really know about the backgrounds. I knew that my grandmother was on the board at one point for the school.
His grandmother was a trustee. His great-great-grandfather, Nathaniel G. Newman, graduated in the first class at Elon. He also built West Storm. Nathaniel's brother, John U. Newman, taught at the college and even named it Elon.
It was a huge shock, but kind of my background in loving history, and I mean my ancestry in general, I just really enjoyed the moment.
Gallier found out about his family's heritage his freshman year. Now it's a fun fact he uses in classes.
I get pretty good reactions, and one class I've actually said it into, the professor was just like, "Oh, Elon royalty."
Gallier says one of the most interesting members of his family is Lila Newman. She was a deaf art teacher who is well known in the community.
She left her house door open all the time because she was deaf. She couldn't hear it. And so people were just welcome to walk into her house.
His parents met at Elon and are still married today. Gallier says his Elon experience won't end at graduation this spring.
Elon will always be a part of my life. I see myself, even if I live in the far corners of the earth, coming back to here several times.
Gallier hopes he can return to Elon in the future and help with their education program.
One person on this football field has been compared to Katniss Everdeen one too many times. I'm Joe Bruno, and that story is straight ahead.
Also, we'll introduce you to this year's Men's Tennis SoCon Player of the Year. Fall break is less than 2 weeks away, and if you're planning a trip, the cost can add up fast. Lauren Cook joins us with some tips to keep more money in your wallet.
Sky and Megan, here are some ways to make the most out of your 4 days off. First, plan ahead. If you start early, you will find better deals online and could be less stressed as the break approaches. Second, if you're trying to decide between driving or flying to your destination, compare gas prices and flight prices before you commit. That could end up saving you some money. Next, if you choose to look for flights, check out websites like kayak.com or travelocity.com before you book. These sites post great flight deals daily, and there could be a deal for you. Also, Groupon. This site posts great deals from day trips to hotels. And lastly, if you're not leaving Elon for fall break, remember, the university does not offer meal plan options during the week. To save money, buy groceries at local stores like Target or Food Lion, and don't forget to check online for coupons. That's all for now. Looking out for the college consumer, I'm Lauren Cook.
More than 1,000 families made the trip to Elon for Family Weekend. The school hosted several events that included a collage concert. Other popular events included the Saturday football game and President Lambert's open house for coffee, but some of the events sold out early for families.
Is open. Unfortunately, the only thing we can tell them is that we apologize that has sold out, and that there are a number of other performances and a number of other activities they can still participate in. The faculty musical performance on Friday night is at the same time, and we encourage them to attend that.
And if you missed out on Family Weekend action, check out #ELNFamily on social media. ELN held a photo contest where students across campus posted their photos online. These are just some of our entries. The rest will be posted on our Facebook page. You can see our own ELN staff took advantage of the opportunity. Be sure to like your favorite picture. The ones with the most likes by Thursday at noon will win a free dinner with the ELN staff member of their choice.
If you went to the football game on Saturday and stayed for the halftime show, you saw the Fire of the Carolinas pay tribute to Beyonce. When Single Ladies came on, all eyes were on this one baton twirler. Our Joe Bruno introduces you to the Elon student whose license plate is Fire Girl.
I would run around with her massive batons, hitting everything. So my mom was like, well, let's get her her own little baby baton, and then I just stuck with it.
Cassia Luzinski loves to put on a good show. She's an award-winning baton twirler and has been doing it since she was young.
It takes a lot more work than just grabbing it and twirling it, and when people try, they realize that, but a lot of times people don't quite grasp how difficult and how much practice it takes.
But it's not just a baton she twirls.
I can juggle 2 fire. We're hoping for next year to get up to 3, so that's my goal, but I twirl 2 knives.
Luzinski started when she was 3 years old, and she says it's the adrenaline of the crowd that keeps her going. Luzinski performs with the Fire of Carolinas every Elon football home game.
The biggest concern is dropping on the field, especially when you're pulling fire. You don't like the stadium on fire.
But that's not the only damage the fire can cause.
If you hold a fire baton straight up and down, it'll burn all your arm hair off. So that has happened.
And you might be wondering about those big knives she throws. What happens if she catches one awkwardly?
The knife batons are not supposed to be able to cause huge amounts of damage.
But
someone had asked me that probably 2 weeks ago at practice. I was like, no, that doesn't happen. The next practice, I hit myself and sliced my thumb open.
Flags, batons, knives, and fire. The self-proclaimed fire girl can do it all. Joe Bruno, Elon Local News.
Coming up next on ELN Sports, we look into the SoCon Player of the Year in Cam Silverman. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning into this ELN Sports Update. I'm Justin Beagle. We begin tonight with football. Elon hosted the 11th ranked Coastal Carolina Chanticleers for Parents Weekend on Saturday, and Elon looked to end its 2-game losing streak. An announced crowd of 10,000 plus were in attendance for the game. Elon found themselves down early until Mike Quinn connected with tight end Doug Wark in the back of the end zone to tie the game at 7. Later in the half, Kier Brown showed off some of his athletic skills with a run down the field to put the Phoenix in Coastal territory. That would lead to a B.J. Bennett score. However, the Chanticleers would not go down without a fight and continue to hurt the Phoenix. Here, they would score a touchdown just before the half to seal the deal for the Chanticleers. Then they would go on and win by a final score of 53-28. Elon may have lost, but the Phoenix did score 28 points in the first half. I took a closer look at Elon's offense in this week's Phoenix Footage Breakdown.
Today we'll look at 3 plays from the Elon Coastal Carolina matchup. The first is Kier Brown's 55-yard run to set up an eventual Elon touchdown. Before the ball is snapped, Brown is located next to quarterback Mike Quinn in the backfield. As the ball is snapped, Brown comes across the formation and takes the ball from Quinn. At the same time, left tackle Clay Johnson pulls from the opposite side of the formation and lead blocks for Brown. As he approaches the sideline, Johnson makes a block on the linebacker, and wide receiver Rasan Rory seals the outside, making a clear running lane for Brown. Our next play is B.J. Bennett's score early in the second quarter. On this play, Elon tries to trick the Chanticleers by sending QB Mike Quinn out as a receiver, leaving Bennett alone in the backfield. When the ball is snapped, left tackle Jacob Engel pulls across the formation and allows Bennett to plow through the line and into the end zone for the score, just like the first play. Our final play is D'Angelo Henderson's rushing score to put the game away for Coastal Carolina. Here, the Chanticleers receivers are lined up in a diamond formation, leaving the right side of the field wide open. Henderson comes across the formation as the ball is being snapped and takes the handoff. He has 2 options. He can either sprint to the outside and beat the defender, or cut back up the middle. Henderson cuts up the middle, slips a few tackles, and makes his way into the end zone. That's it for this week. Thanks again for watching this Phoenix Footage Breakdown.
With the loss, Elon now drops to 1-4 on the season. The Phoenix will turn to Furman next weekend in Greenville. Elon is 1-1 against the Paladins under Coach Swepson. Now from football to tennis, we caught up with senior Cam Silverman to discuss his successes in 2013 and how he plans to improve in the future.
I like going through obstacles and being able to fight my way out of them and just using my brain, using my body. I love doing it.
Junior Cam Silverman is undefeated and has won both of his tennis tournaments this fall.
Trying not to think about that, trying to have as good of a year as I can, not get ahead of myself.
The 2013 SoCon Player of the Year spent his summer at home in New York and played in several professional tournaments.
3 of them were professional tournaments, so I got to experience, some of the best players in the world. Got to see, guys as high as in the 200s in the world get to play and play against some of them. So I got to see exactly what they do, some of their routines. I got to see how hungry and motivated they were, how they've reached so much success.
Silverman says competing against some of the world's top players gave him more motivation.
Getting to play against top guys and getting to see just different people and the way they play and how good some people are, I'm a lot more driven, a lot more hungry than I ever was.
But hunger isn't the only thing that gives Silverman an edge. His improved mental and physical game gave him a new way to look at the game.
And now I think the way I carry myself, I've matured on the court, the way my fitness has grown throughout the last 6 months or so. I think all that has transformed into me playing better.
Now, after being the #1 collegiate tennis player in the nation, Cam hopes to play professional tennis upon graduating in the spring.
So, Justin, what can we expect from sports this week?
Well, Sky, it should be a relatively quiet week on campus, but on Saturday, the men's soccer team will host Appalachian State, our arch rival, and they'll look to get their 8th win on the year. The team is now currently ranked 23rd in the nation and will hope to climb up the NCAA rankings so far this season.
Great, thanks, Justin. That's all the time we have for tonight's Elon Local News. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for the news that matters to you.
Also, check back to our website at elonlocalnews.com. If you're awake tomorrow morning at 9:50, ELN Morning will broadcast live here on Channel 5.
From all of us here at Elon Local News, have a great week, Elon.